face, front, true believers. Welcome to issue 95 of the Pitch Nerds. We are the weekly show where two nerds gather together, talk about the latest nerdy news, reviews, throw out some rumors here and there, and pitch you really cool original story ideas based off cool franchises. I'm Cap, and joining me today...
Sometimes cool franchises.
Sometimes. Joining me today, as always, best friend, fellow nerd, and man who once relied on his wherewithal, wit, and childlike antics to save his local community center from the encroaching imperialists, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, how are you doing?
It was a dance battle. It was.
Yes.
We raised money with the dance battle.
Yeah,
I got my crew together.
And that was after the car wash failed. You had to step up your game.
Well, no, we had to do the car wash because not everybody believed in ourselves.
Okay.
And so then we tried the car, but then we learned to believe in ourselves.
Okay.
And then we came back and fought the other team in this dance battle. It was pretty exciting. I used my lucky 5-leaf clover.
Yes. You know what? A lot of what you described could be applied towards this week's Behold Nerds of Fury, your pick. Weird. But yes, how are we doing, fellow nerds, one and all? We have some great stuff to talk about today. We have our resumed worship of Pedro Pascal. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Mandalorian and The Last of Us. And joining us soon is Gary, creator of Stargazer. He is on standby. We're just waiting on him to hop in here. So we are going to cut to a quick break once he gives us the thumbs up that he's ready. Looking forward to talking to him about that. In the meantime, Frosty and I are going to make some just noises into the screen while we wait for our guest to arrive with some nerdy news and I don't know, what do we got today? Got some
yeah, we'll start with nerdy news.
Do some chit chats.
I'm sorry, I'm just checking on things on my end as one does.
Yes.
Anywho, yeah. So take a look at the news.
So,
well, I'll do the lesser news items, and I'll move to the two big ones because maybe our guests will have opinions.
I do have a rant.
Okay,
I have a rant in the salvo that's just waiting to come out.
Well, I thought this is interesting. I just came across this little tidbit. It sounds like our guest probably has chimed in. But
okay, well,
yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
Go ahead. Yeah.
guys. We're just have a couple more minutes here. Do apologize. We're just getting everything all pixelated here. Hold on. So I don't know why this happens with the screen capture. Let me.
Yeah, where it flips it around.
Yeah.
Gary, I don't know if you can hear it.
I'm making the call.
Well, can't you move us up into the things and then once he gets his video and audio,
there he goes. He's coming.
Oh.
I think he's coming. Anyway, sorry for the delay, guys. Well, you know, we kind of have things set on my end where they need to be, so everybody's in the right captions. So,
Okay.
all he needs to do is turn on, get his mic and audio sorted out, and we can just.
All right, yeah, we'll just continue then. We'll go with the news then.
Yep. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll edit that in post. Ha ha ha. Just give it a couple inches off the sides there. Anyways, nerdy news. What are we talking about?
Okay, so so I found this interesting. Rhea Seehorn, she was on some show, I don't know. And she was talking about Breaking Bad's Mike or Mantrout.
Mantrout?
Yep. Yeah. And he said apparently the character was created because Bob Odenkirk, Saul Goodman, was not available for a scene. I found that kind of interesting. So, direct quote: Bob was not available for Saul Goodman to clean up her body, and so Mike Ehrment, I say his last name's character, was created. Bob was shooting something, and they wrote when Kristen's character dies that he was to come and clean up the body in this very cold, unfeeling manner. And now is going to be where his character started to go. And he was simply not available, so they made up the Mike character.
Interesting.
So, yeah, because they would have completely changed the character of Saul Goodman, which, as we know now, he's like one of the most celebrated characters.
Right. Oh, that's in another dimension, in another time and space.
Yeah, had he been available for shooting, we would have never have gotten Mike's character, too. Yeah, you're exactly right. There's another dimension.
Right. That is where the split happened, right there. That's
It would be funny if they brought in the Mike character to play more of a Saul Goodman character, and then he's in this spinoff.
Right.
Like, I don't know what it would be called. Like, what's something that rhymes with Mike?
Just purple.
I want to be like Mike. That's the name of the show.
Be like Mike.
Mike. Be like Mike.
So
okay,
that's cool how weird things sort of like play out like that, just depending on the limitations at the time. it kind of goes towards what you've always said, where people work best when they're under some type of pressure or there's some type of
Mhm.
limitation because it forces creativity. So,
Yeah, the basis of creativity is limitation
right,
because yeah, that's where you go to innovate.
right.
Oh,
Hey,
hey,
there he is. Oh, and I got switched around. No, rabble, rabble, rabble.
I thought that was gonna happen. It's fine.
No. All right, I'm gonna fix this really quick.
You just bring your mic online when you figure that part out, Gary, and we'll be good to go.
Aha, there we go. Boop, boop. I don't like that it does that.
I'll just keep going with some news. So, Cocaine Bear director Elizabeth Banks,
Mm,
she threw this out there, and I don't know, like, I mean, I haven't seen Cocaine Bear, but I do like her as a director.
mm,
She said she would love to work on a superhero project
mm.
for James Gunn specifically,
Okay.
because she thinks DC characters are just like awesome. Like, basic. I'm paraphrasing,
Right, right,
but she
right.
was like, "Yeah, they're super interesting. I would love to write a movie where my characters go on these like interesting journeys and things like that."
Right.
So I don't know. What do you think? The idea. I mean, I do think this is her going to be like, "Hey, James Gunn, let me direct a movie." You know what I
Right.
mean? But
So,
uh,
Cocaine Bear was a an unexpected delight. It was a fun movie. Fellow nerd Dan kind of shares the same sentiment I did, where I kind of wish they got a little bit harder. Like it feels like, there are some scenes that are brutal, and
mhm.
but they're done almost satirically, where it's just like, oh god, it's like RoboCop level of just like, oh god, it kind of hurts to watch, but it's elevated violence because it's satire. It's a cocaine bear,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but they were the scenes that they went really hard in were great, but then
Well,
they're
what do you think of her though as a director for DC?
oh no, that's perfect. No, that's
You would be what character would you
I
like her to be her to take on?
ask me again in about 10 minutes or so. let, no, let me finish gushing about Cocaine Bear really quick. So that's my one critique, is that there are moments where, oh, it's going to rip some dude's face off and then it'll hard cut, or oh, some dude's going to get ripped apart and then it'll hard cut and it'll just be like a plop of a limb, and you don't get that full just like blah, like Ed 209 just turning the guy into pepperoni after 30 seconds of just like
You
hold the
know who I
camera
think
there.
she could write
Hmm.
is Jonathan Kent.
Okay.
I could totally see her writing him, or just because I want to see it get made, um, an orphan slash Batgirl movie,
Okay, I can see
but
that.
orphan specifically.
Right. Gary,
Either of those characters.
uh, really quick, Gary, if you can hear us, just give us a big thumbs up, because you're coming in perfectly on the camera. Okay, so you just need to unmute, man. Join us in the nerdy talk. Just get on in here. All right, he's
Okay,
working on that. As long as we have the picture of him up, that's good.
but well, by the way, we're welcomed by the host of the comic book Stargazers, aka at Right Peaceful on Twitter.
Yes.
So you can always hop on our Twitter and make sure you say hi. He will be as soon as he figures out his mic issues. We will be discussing his comic after the news, ideally, but we'll just keep running through the show until the microphone issue is resolved.
All right.
So also in the news, oh, this is interesting. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman
Mm-hmm.
has been confirmed to appear in Shazam: Fury of the Gods,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to the release of a new TV spot for the DC sequel.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, I have no strong feelings one way or the other,
Right.
but it's like, yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah. I think Lucy Lawless is still the best. Like, would make the best Wonder Woman.
In her prime,
Yeah.
I mean, like, no, I do not mean this disrespectfully because Lucy Lawless, oh my God, she looks amazing.
Yeah, she does.
But I just think of Wonder Woman as a like kind of when she played Xena,
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
kind of age,
yeah.
yeah.
Rewind.
But I agree, she
it's-
would make a
Oh,
badass
she'd make a great
Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's cool.
Um,
It just
Yeah, people always think of Wonder Woman as taller than she is, though. You know that? Like, she's not that tall. Like, she's been drawn tall, I guess, a few times, but I think her official height is 5'8".
I thought she was like a big Amazon, like 7 foot
Everybody,
something.
yeah, everybody thinks that. Yeah.
Like,
Um,
okay.
someone posted on Twitter Zendaya to play Wonder Woman.
Mhm.
I think she would actually do it pretty well if she just muscled up. You know, you need to get a trainer in there.
Right, right. I,
But yeah,
I guess. I guess.
she's pretty tall though. I mean, that's one of the things that she's 5'10". So like,
Yeah,
in people's mind,
yeah.
oh, they need to be giant.
I mean, well,
Anyway,
if you're hurling tanks outside the UN, Frosty, you'd expect there to be some mass behind it.
so this is there's a rumor going around that Gunn's looking for a 20 to 30-year-old to play Superman, which I kind of just assumed because he said he wanted to do a younger Superman. But
Right.
anyway, he debunked that. He says he hasn't even hired a casting director.
Mm.
The thing is, though, I don't. Maybe he's different. Obviously, everybody is their own person. If I write a character, a lot of time I'm thinking of an actor for that character. I
Right.
guess sometimes I'm not though. Sometimes I just wanted to be in every like I'm gonna find a nobody to play this person, you know,
Right.
like
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, that rumor's debunked. Okay, so here's the
I love how quickly he just responds to all these rumors and shit.
yeah, I
He
think he
just
spends a little too much time on Twitter to be
I
honest.
think
It's
he's
like
having too much fun. Just
dude, Twitter is just like a sludge pit of like assholes.
right.
And it's like, why are like you're not why are you hanging out here? You know, like
Right.
you have to be Ryan Reynolds to survive, you know?
Right.
Like,
Just- or Keanu Reeves. Oh
yeah.
man. That-
Okay, so the big two things of the news is Disney is shelving Kevin Feige's mysterious Star Wars movie
yes.
and Patty Jenkins'
Patty
Rogue
Jenkins, Rogue
Squadron.
Squadron. Yes, yes. That's
And
going to
then
tie into my rant, but yes,
okay, well, but Taika Waititi, his movie is still a go.
yes,
Okay, so I was confused when a fellow nerd first sent us this article, and I read it because it sounded like, oh, those guys are out, but Taika Waititi's in. But like I was like, wasn't he always in?
right.
Like, you know,
He's always there,
and that was the way the article was framed.
right?
I mean, I imagine this is really like a nothing news. They had 3 projects on the
And
table,
they got scrapped
and
two
they
and focused on
decided
the
like,
one,
let's throw more of our money behind this one and
right?
not do these 2 for now.
Right,
Because you can still do them, you just do them again later. So they just put them on the shelf.
right. So
Um,
I,
it just sounds like a nothing burger, but apparently this is a big enough story that I was like, wow, okay, this should be one of our bigger ones.
yeah. So my thought is I'm disappointed about Rogue Squadron because I've read a few of the Rogue Squadron books. They are phenomenal, and it's again, it's the other side of the rebellion. Nope, we lost Gary, so we're going to haha da 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 da. So hopefully we get him back up and going. He probably just need to reset his computer. But I really wanted to see a Rogue Squadron movie, and again, I'm not saying it's never going to happen. Just I was looking forward to that one because it's Top Gun, but with the rebellion where Wedge Antilles is Tom Cruise.
No, that sounds cool.
Like that's cool. There we go. Let's go back here. I'm going to wait. I'm going to keep it there right now. But yeah, so I can see them from what I understand what's happening, and you can kind of see the same thing going on in Marvel, where there's a change in the administration at Disney. Chapek is out. Iger stepped back in. He's going to smooth the waters until I think some guy named John Morrow or somebody's going to be the next ruler of the empire. So apparently Disney was spending way too much money under Chapek. So, but they were spending all this money, but they were kind of taking it out on the day-to-day park goers. And Iger came out and openly admitted to the price gouging that Disney has been doing on its guests and cast members, and that's a bold step, man. That is one thing to just acknowledge it publicly like that is just a big thing. So I think they're going to kind of re-spread out the money a little bit, and I don't know. We'll see. You know my thoughts about Disney. They're an evil, evil corporation, but I'm entertained by them. I still give them money because they have a system that works. But
No, they do make good stuff, and that's what it comes down to. But yeah, there's obviously issues as there is. The thing is, I think we just have to be honest, though, with corporations. I don't think it's necessarily that they're evil, but they have their only goal is to make money. And if we accept that as like a society or whatever,
right,
then it makes sense that we have to regulate it. And the regulation shouldn't be on them; it should be on an outside
right,
thing because we know again that first statement is here to make money,
right,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
right.
But that means that people that aren't here to make money need to dictate how said money is made. That's my
Right.
personal opinion, but
Right.
obviously,
But it
feel free to
shouldn't be at the expense of people. But it's disgusting how much money they make. Disney is not poor. Disney is not poor.
yeah, definitely not.
But what I find interesting is that I'm not sure if you're aware of what's going on in Florida, where the unions at Disney World are trying to fight for I think like $15 starting over there, and Disney's just stomping its feet and saying no, 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 no. But then Universal, just a couple miles down the road, is like, hey, we'll pay you guys like $17, $18 an hour. We're actually going to invest in employee infrastructure, make sure you guys have clean restrooms, good food, and give you all these perks. Come to us, we'll take care of you. That's brilliant, because we've reached that point now where these big companies can just wave their dicks at each other, and it's great. Like we're reaching the mega conglomerate.
Well, the problem I think we have though is where they're all getting sucked under one company's thing. So
Right.
they're not going to be able to do that anymore because all of a sudden it'll be Disney Universal,
Right.
and that's where we get screwed.
But you know what's
anyway,
great though? As iconic as Mickey Mouse is, Universal, they have Super Mario, and they're talking about getting some rights to use Pokemon. So I think Pokemon and Minions are really big. I didn't realize how big Minions were, but Universal also has that. So I can see
it actually beat out Black Panther.
right. That's fucking blows my mind. I don't look in that direction in the universe, so I had no idea how popular Minions were. I mean, I've seen
those beloved kids movies. I mean, they do well.
right.
Okay, so this is another, I guess, bigger news. Although, again, sometimes I feel like, do I imagine these things before they happen? Because a news comes out and I'm like, I thought this was already established,
Right.
but whatever. But yeah, breaking news. Apparently, James Gunn is writing and directing Superman Legacy. I guess I assumed that maybe.
Didn't we already talk about this on the show?
He was confirmed. I looked it up. It's confirmed he was writing it.
Right.
It was not confirmed that he was also directing it.
I just thought it was.
And
assumed.
I guess that's what. And a lot of there's a lot of James Gunn hate all over like the internet because the internet's weird like that.
I think it would make sense for James Gunn to kind of direct and write his own flagship. I mean,
that's what I mean. I guess I was surprised that more people didn't already assume this. He's a good writer and director, in my opinion, so I'm fine with it. But
right.
But yeah, this is breaking news. Apparently,
really.
I am interested to know once he sorts out his audio, what our guest thinks of the big DC shift thing, because I don't think we've ever discussed it before. Do you want to? Well, that's all I've got. Do you have any news for us, Cap?
I mean, I just wanted to go on my little half Disney rant there. So
Okay.
I've taken my deep breath. I've had my coffee. I'm good. Just hate that company, but I buy their crap and I hate it. I hate you, Disney. I hate you. No, I just think it's interesting how Universal has these properties, and they have a new park opening up in Florida that's going to be a direct competitor to Disney, and they're going to come out swinging their dick. That's great.
Yeah.
Also, side Disney note: it is confirmed that we are getting the Pandora at Disneyland, but nobody's sure where they're going to put it.
Pandora. Oh, you mean from Avatar?
Yeah, yeah. So it's Pandora they have in Animal Kingdom, and it looks cool. And they have the flight of passage where you're supposed to ride one of those things and have hair sex with it, I guess.
That always made me uncomfortable.
Mommy, what's happening? Yeah. So apparently it's one of the coolest rides, and we're getting it. Apparently, I'm not sure where they're gonna put it. They need to do something with Tomorrowland. Figure it out. Yeah, that's all I got. Oh, got to go on the new Mickey's like wacky train ride, some Toontown ride. It's a trackless ride, which is pretty cool. But it's interesting their technology now, because what they've done is, you remember the old dark rides like Snow White, and you just kind of go through a bump, and there's like the little cardboard cutout that comes out. And it's cool.
Man, was it Snow White? There was one that I always thought was funny, because the second to last room, it's like the evil witch, like, and like Snow White, like, no. And then you go through the next door,
and everything's cool.
Everything's happy. Right.
So they did fix that, and I did like. I do like what they did with it, because I like those old dark rides. They're fun.
But like, it's so funny, it's so jarring. Like, did I miss a part? Because it's all presented like a storybook, so
right?
Like what?
What happened?
I think someone tore out a page.
That's funny. So what they've done, they had this projection technology where all they need to do is just build the shape of the facade, and they have these expensive projectors that just project the image onto it. It contours to whatever facade they have up. So you could conceivably be in one room, and it looks one way, then you can turn around and then look at another projection, and when you turn back around again, it's the same room, but with a different projection, it looks like you're somewhere else entirely. It's pretty cool. Like, really, really cool, and it's designed to look like you're actually inside a cartoon. Super, super cool. I enjoyed it. I sent the link of the song that is forever stuck in my head. I dare anybody to click on it. That's my rant.
Hey, so I'm thinking, why don't we try this another weekend, since it sounds like you got some sound problems, and then we can just totally do this, because it's not like we have any set shows or anything like that. So and then when you figure out how to get your audio and everything figured out, feel free to come back and we'll do this again.
So one thing really quick, we did post on all of our social medias the links to Stargazer, and for those watching, please go and check out Stargazer. Feel free to contribute. Issue 1 is out.
Well, that's a preview.
Preview issue is out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and yeah, we have the links up, and then I'll also post them in the comments on our YouTube.
I blame our producer.
The non-existent producer.
It's the producer's fault.
But yeah, thank you for joining us. We'll go ahead and do this another weekend, man. Just message me, let me know when you got it sorted, and then we'll give it a try. All right.
Yeah, it's really easy, man. We've got everything already set up for you to come back. All you need to do is just plop back in. We got you. All right.
Thanks, man.
Then you want to hit the disconnect. There we go. That sucks.
Yeah, this obviously, we're not professionals, so this doesn't always work. But we'll have him back once his computer issues are taken care of.
But again, really feel free to look at his work, though. But
definitely do.
Definitely check out Stargazer. Cool, very Star Warsy inspired. We were talking about this before.
And New Genesis.
Yep.
There's a character, and you're like, oh,
this is dark side.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's this cool kind of, I would say, old school kind of psychedelic space. Comic.
Very Jack Kirby-esque.
Yeah, with like influences Star Wars.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's really cool. And
did
then
you notice that?
if you're in a position, we do check out his crowdfund page and support him because we always like to support creatives. I'm looking forward to getting my copy of the book
Yes.
when it goes to print. So I'm
So-
getting a little collection every time one of our guests comes on. I'm
So
like,
I need to jump on that bandwagon. It's been super tight with money, but
well, totally understand, but I just think that like when I look back on this in like 10 years, I'll be like, oh look, these are the comics. I met these people and bought their comics when they
Right.
were on a show I did, you know.
how cool is that?
Yeah.
That's cool. But
But anyway, go ahead.
so
Where are we at?
really quick, for those watching who will watch, I did redo our Facebook page entirely. It was originally set up as a business page. It's not a business page. This is a community. This is a group of fellow nerds. So feel free. I gave Frosty the link. If you could turn around and put that on
Put it on
our Twitter.
I don't know if I can. I think Musk made a rule that like I can't link Facebook stuff on Twitter.
Oh, that bastard.
Yeah, it's like I don't look because maybe some of our fans like Musk, but I personally have not appreciated how Twitter's been handled. Let's not get angry and yell at each other. That's just how I feel.
Right.
I might be wrong too. I just remember reading something about that a while ago. I'll try it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Then call me an asshole all you want, whatever.
Asshole. I'll just call you an asshole just because, Frosty. No, so new Facebook is up.
Oh god, the internet's such a toxic place, and everybody's like, rah, and I get so tired of it.
That's why I stopped.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I try and be on there because we meet cool people.
I know. Just if this were 10 years ago, I would be swimming in the swamp with all of it. I just.
No, I know. I agree. I totally agree. Like I just see stuff and I'm like, oh god. And then part of me is like, you need to say something, and the other part is like, no,
no.
Yeah.
I'll slow this down.
Well, let's go into our reviews. We've got Last of Us and The Mandalorian. So
the
Pedro Pascal show where he escorts a young child.
So
would you like to go with first?
Assemble our tired masses, come gather around the warm beacon that is the Pitch Nerds, and we shall take you to the Church of Pascal. Praise him.
Yeah, he's Orange County's finest actor.
Hey, he is.
That's literally true. He's from Orange County. Like,
is he? I thought he was like from Peru or some shit.
No, he might be originally, but he's Orange County. Like I learned this from watching the Hot Ones. Did you ever watch that show? Yeah, he's on it. He's dressed in all red, which is fun. And yeah, and he's just like, I don't know, man. I love this man.
He was great on SNL.
Yeah.
That's Churches in. We talked first. We did The Last of Us first last week, so let's do Mandalorian this week.
All right. Episode chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. What are your I guess I'll throw out my first thought. This was a Bo-Katan episode. She stole the whole episode.
Right.
I loved seeing her. I thought she was a badass. All I can think is like, hell yeah, Starbuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she was a badass. I noticed she didn't appear to have any issues wielding the Darksaber, which I think is because she doesn't have the same doubts. That I'm already jumping into my analysis.
It looked like she initially on her first swing she looked a little steady.
No. She was just fucking shit up.
Eventually, she got the rrhythm going.
I think she could do it instantly. I didn't see any delay.
So I thought that I saw just a little hesitation at first, like she kind of struggled to muscle it up, and then when she got the rhythm going, but either here or there, it was still fucking cool. It was still fucking cool.
The thing I thought was because she doesn't have any hesitation, she's 100% in who she is and their belief system.
Yeah.
And then whereas Din Djarin right now he feels disgraced, and that's his whole point, and
Right.
that's why he's struggling. But yeah, if he bathes in the waters and stuff like that, so I think that's why he's struggling where she's not.
Right.
And I think we'll see that dynamic change. But yeah, she stole the show. I thought she was dope as hell.
Yeah.
Um,
It's cool that she's also the voice actress for Bo-Katan in Clone Wars. That's cool.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh, but this caught me out of the episode. By the way, I'm sorry, spoilers for anybody. I always try and say that before we start talking.
Right.
We're heavy spoilers here, so just deal with it. But this just made me go like, wait a second. Because so he goes into the pool and to cleanse himself, and he goes whoop, and you're like, oh, that's cool, because like he gets ripped down and stuff, and then she jumps in to save him. And A, I was thinking like, why didn't you bring your jetpack? Like, but this is what really got me, because he goes deep.
He goes really deep.
Yeah, and then she grabs him, and then she's like,
yeah.
He's got the bends, man.
Decompression sickness.
Yeah, he can't do that.
Well, he's wearing space armor, Frosty.
Yeah, but it wasn't sealed. That's why he was like, and like,
he's wearing Beskar armor, which grants you
immunity to death. Okay, I'll get. It is a fantasy universe. I win this round.
Yes. No, it just. So at first, I honestly thought it was going to be a Dianoga. I thought that we'd see like a cool like Dianoga. So the thing that attacked Luke in the trash compactor. I thought it was going to be a Dianoga, but then Bo-Katan kept going deeper and deeper. It's like, holy shit! He took 2 steps and there was just this continental shelf. What the hell is that?
Yeah, and I just assumed it was armor. It was just like, oh fuck, why did I bring my jetpack?
Just conveniently took it off. The one thing that sort of sucked me out of the episode was...
What is it? Like, water, my only weakness. Because the last time she saved him was because he was in water.
Yeah, that's true.
It's his only weakness.
So, we've established in Star Wars that they can fly now. Yes, things can fly with their jetpacks. But then you have this little Star Warsian baby carriage, call it a Purim.
Yeah, I want a big one of those so I can be like...
Right, okay, so pause right there. Pause right there. This thing doesn't need to have... to, like, float and sustain itself. Yet the Mandalorians need to do all this crap. So Mando jumps off this sheer cliff hundreds of hundreds of feet down, and the fucking Grogu thing just goes... Just... So, hear me out, Mandalorians. Here's how you win.
Mine would make that noise, though. Mine would go... something like that.
So, here's how you beat the Empire. Listen to me. You go to your local, whatever Star Wars equivalent of Babies R Us is, or Bye Bye Baby, just a baby place. You buy a lot of those little baby carriages, Star Warsian baby carriages with repulsor lift technology. You put that shit in your armor so that we can just float and do this crap without having to go in one direction. You fucking just float around that shit. They use the cool technology for the dumb things, but save the shittier technology to do most of the heavy lifting, which requires more work.
Maybe it's a weight thing. Like, it only works if you're like a little tiny baby Yoda.
No, it's repulsor lift. That's the shit that lifts all the ships to do all their shit. It's the repulsor
I don't
lift.
know, man.
Frosty, damn it! What would happen if Din Djarin just kind of plopped on? It's like the kid has its own like Dr. Eggman mobile from Sonic. That's how I would decorate it. I'd make it one of those.
Maybe it doesn't work for most, but because he's Yoda, baby Yoda, like,
Or maybe the only way I can forgive it is if maybe it's Baby Yoda using the Force, keeping it levitated. But no, he doesn't, because he assumes the controls, number one, which is weird, because this is meant to house
But I mean, when it drops and it goes up. that's him force powering it.
Maybe.
But then when it's like just above the ground, it's just fine.
Yeah, I guess. I'm okay with that. But you have a baby thing with its own controls to go. Why would you install that? That doesn't seem like a feature. Invest in railings, not in controls for the baby carriage Star Wars. Stop it. But I love that
I
you.
want a big one though, and I want it to make a noise. I'd maybe turn it on and off, so I'm always driving myself insane. And then like I'd give like put flames on it, and mine would be all like, you know.
Yes.
Anywho, but okay, so yeah, that so moving back to other stuff. So we got to see Bo-Katan's ship, the Gauntlet.
Yes.
That ship is so dope.
Super.
That's
cool.
probably one of my favorite ships.
Mm.
I really like Bo-Katan. I think she's really cool.
She's cool.
And then the other thing I saw is she starts becoming kind of a believer because she's like, yeah, this is just some water,
Right.
And then she sees the mythosaur as the eye opens, and like, and so also I noticed that Bo-Katan's story is similar to the story of Anastasia from history.
Yeah. Yeah, so true story. That was actually going to be my intro for you today. I was going to say Anastasia's baby, Mr. Frosty. True story. True story.
Anywho, but yeah, I mean, overall though, I thought it was a really good episode.
So my favorite part was when he went back to Tatooine, and good gravy, I forget her name, but we see the mechanic, and we get to see R5 again. I'm pretty sure that's.
Oh yeah, R5. Yeah, that was the other thing
yes.
I was gonna say. Like, and it's the same R5
from A New Hope. Yes.
And...
So yeah. I'm sure I've said it 1,000 times on the show, but I'm going to say it this one last time. So in the original canon, Owen Lars picked 3PO and R5 as the droids. R2 is there making his squealy noises, and he's making the squealy noises. R5 is hearing what R2 is saying because they speak that language, and R5 realizes, oh crap, I can't separate these two. There's importance here. So R5 deliberately blew his motivator just so Owen would turn around and be like, yeah, give me that one instead. So
yeah, the only thing I thought it was interesting with R5, and I was fine with it, but I do feel like, well, are we just forgetting that whole IG-88 storyline you dropped? Because it was like, oh, here's a thread. I just need to get one of those things, and then she shows up. She's like, yeah, that's never gonna happen. Here, have this, and then he's like, okay, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, who knows? Hopefully, it'll have a payoff. But I do love R5. I love the Astromechs.
Ooh, but I hate it when it happens. It short circuits my brain. I'm just like,
do this instead.
Yeah, but what?
Right. I mean, it's fine. I do love how good grief, I forget her character, but how she's ripping people off during Boonta Eve because she's buddies with the Jawas. So she's hiring the Jawas to steal people's shit. People bring the stuff to her to fix, and she gouges them for pricing, and then here's the Jawas with all the crap that they stole. Just reinstall. That's wonderful. It just...
Yeah, her character's pretty funny.
Right.
And, I also like now like Baby Yoda can they just throw the little doll and whee.
Right. So, does he have a crawl space behind Mando's back so he can get into the thing that the droid can also go into?
Yeah, presumably. Yeah.
Okay. There's the answer.
I know, like I kind of thought, because it's like, it looks small, like it's just like this, just like his helmet,
right?
And then like it's like more giant stuff is coming out, like
right.
And like, yeah, he's like, get inside your pod and like close it and all this, and
right?
Just like, okay, well, you brought that thing, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think like what they should do is keep that ship, but give him like a bigger live-in ship.
Yeah.
that ship can like dock with.
Yeah. I mean
Um,
that's the progression of things because usually with types like that, but then again they stress how fast the ship is, so you can get
that's
places from
true.
point A to
So he
B
gets
really
around
quick. So
with it. Yeah, it's cool. I like his ship.
oh, I
I
love his
like that
ship.
they took something like from the prequels, even that I maybe was didn't appreciate and made me appreciate it. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, you know,
Right.
that is badass. And she's like, these are made for the royal family, and I'm like, that sounds dope as hell.
Right.
You know, like,
So
um,
I think some of the best scenes, and they're simple scenes, just when him and Grogu are just flying through hyperspace, and you just kind of have those shots of the ship just flying through hyperspace, and you see the kind of like these cosmic whale looking things. It was cool, super cool.
yeah.
Um,
Do you ever think of the other Mandalorians are like pissed off at that guy? It's like he takes off his helmet, and so like he's not even a fucking Mandalorian. Yeah,
right,
he's flying around in this dope ship with a Force user and has the dark saber
right,
and it has got better armor than the rest of
and
them.
then all of
And like,
them.
and everyone's like, oh, that guy should be like, looked upon badly. And then like, oh no, we're in trouble. And he just shows up and
Right,
is dead. Because I'm the fucking Mandalorian.
right.
And
Eh,
then like, oh man, and then you find out it's like, oh, so he's not worthy because he took out his helmet, and then he's like, yeah, but I'm gonna go on an adventure and bathe in the living waters beneath the planet's
mm,
surface because I found this clue. I would be like, damn, that guy is the best Mandalorian that ever Mandalorian.
right. Right.
I'm so jealous. Like,
This is the way. Um,
I would be, I'd be like, can I come? You know.
that would be fun to hang out with them. Yeah, shut up and take my money, 1,000%.
Yeah, so take my
Oh
money.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. All right.
I
So
love
then,
R5 though. R5's
Last of
great.
Us. When we are in need,
Hmm.
I would have called this Ellie versus the cult.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
um,
as far as TV cults have been portrayed, I think this one was portrayed differently from everything else. It's kind of because this has been done before, where it's a post-apocalypse, get the cannibal cult. They didn't
they
like
didn't know they were cannibals
right,
though.
right. But see, I like that because like what they did in The Walking Dead, they really just hammered home. Look at the cannibal cult. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, cannibal cult. This one, they framed it differently, and I appreciated that. But I think we're getting a little bit ahead of things. But God, we only have one more episode tonight, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So, one of the guys from the cult finds a deer that Ellie shot. Well, two of the guys. One of the men is Tony Baker, and also the guy who played Joel in the game.
Yes, I did not know that until
Uh,
after the fact.
but yeah, so but they find a deer. Turns out, blah blah blah. Ellie, or the guy Joel killed was the guy that was with part of their town, and so now they're like trying to hunt him down.
Right.
But the leader is really the whole thing hinges on the leader capturing Ellie, and it's kind of like their dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying, like from her point of view. They put her in a cage.
Yeah.
She realizes they're cannibals.
Yeah.
Um, you realize just how fucking like evil that cult leader is. Don't you see? It's the struggle I like.
Right. Oh,
Like it goes like
so did he
straight up.
notice?
No, but like this is like a straight up bad guy. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like as bad as you can be. Like
Right.
there's like flames going around him.
Yeah. The horns.
Yeah.
So
But there are flames going around him as he yells that shit at her.
right. What I liked is because it's framed again perfectly framed this episode. At first, he doesn't seem like he's a bad guy. Like he seems reasonable. Like we're surviving. There's people here, and he's also the religious type, if you will. But they start hinting at his muahaha when they're having they're all gathered for dinner, and everybody has just like little scraps on their plate, but he's got a big old like plate in front of him. You notice that part? So
Yeah.
it's but they also they didn't highlight on the cannibalism until way later, because when they came in with the deer with the deer meat, the lady asked, "Oh, well, what is it?" He said, "It's all right. It's just venison." So I thought, oh,
No. They hadn't. They hadn't. That was the flesh. That was the joke.
hmm,
Because she goes, "What is it?" And he's, "Oh, it's venison." Like,
yeah,
and that was clearly not venison.
oh,
Then they were gonna have the deer meat. But
oh,
that was, yeah, that was a clue that they were cannibals.
okay, yeah. So
But yeah, so very evil. It was, I thought, I forget her name, the girl who plays Ellie, did her performance was great.
you're right.
She nailed it. Um, and I liked seeing her character develop.
Yeah,
She's the other freaky part of the episode is we see what happens with Joel when he finally comes to,
his
because he just
senses,
starts straight up torturing
everybody.
to get what he needs.
Right,
This man is terrifying.
right.
That this is his first like kind of rampage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and yeah, you see what happens. He's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna slice your fucking knee off," and then he's like, "No, no, no, no," and then the
He
other
just
guy, and then he kills him. And the other
bashes his
guy's
head
like,
in. Yes.
yeah, he bashes that guy's head in because he's like, "I believe him," and yeah, it's no remorse. He
Right.
is getting her back, and there's just nothing that will stop this man.
Right.
You
It
know, like,
it so
yeah,
so well, but I hate that we only have one more episode left. I don't know where they're going to end it,
yeah. Neither do I.
because I
Totally.
so I because I know that there there's the two games, and it is Ellie's story throughout, but I don't know if there's talks of like a third game at all, or if HBO is just gonna. I hope it doesn't become like Walking Dead and it just doesn't know how to end it. But HBO seems pretty good at telling its story, at
Mhm.
least following through. So hopefully they have some semblance of where they want to go. Um, I hope it doesn't become like Walking Dead, where just one issue becomes an entire season. It just gets strung out and strung out and strung out, and it just becomes not good. Um, oh, this is a brutal episode to watch. Like it is a scary episode to watch again with the framing, because when Ellie's fighting the dude and the fire in the cabin, and he's just you. What did he say? He was like a teacher before, and then he found his faith, and he just became the worst human on the planet. Ugh, awful.
Yeah, it was just, well, yeah, he was evil.
Yeah,
like,
that's it. Evil dude. Um,
yeah, like, and that's what I mean. This is an unapologetic evil villain. Like,
right,
it is not one of these ones where they have redeeming qualities or you're supposed to empathize with them.
right,
This is just straight up, I'm a bad guy.
right,
I don't give a shit.
right,
Um, and yeah, it's good to have these kind of villains because sometimes I think like we used to have evil villains,
mm,
and then people realized, oh, it's much more interesting to have these kind of villains that maybe aren't villains totally,
right,
and so those became the more interesting characters. But then everybody started writing those, and so now when you get a Red Skull where you're just like, oh yeah, that's a bad guy,
right.
it's
Nazi
kind
bad
of
guy.
rare.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know
it's
what I mean?
refreshing
Like,
because
it is refreshing, funny time this was the norm. But that's what I mean. People get angry at shit like that. I'm like, dude, it's just trends.
right,
Like eventually, like it'll probably switch back and we'll just have totally evil villains for a while.
right. I mean, it should suit the plot. Again, story
No,
first.
I should,
Story
but
first.
it's just, people write what they're into, and so people get on trends. It's normal. I mean, I understand it as an artist. Like like I think anybody who first learns Photoshop, like for example, starts putting drop shadows on everything,
Hmm.
and like, and then you realize, like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. Like.
In Quantum, I have one particular faction that's sort of just evil for the sake of evil, kind of,
uh,
sort of. I mean, there's a little bit more flavor to them, so it's a little bit more three dimensional, but it's still just we're better than you. Is lowest is how you reduce it to. We are stronger, we are bigger, we are better than you. That's it. Period. If we want to exert ourselves, you can't stop us because we are better than you. And yeah, and it's actually turned out to be one of the funnest like things that I've written in Quantum so far. It's called the Nord. They're the space worms. They're awful, but I want people to hate them, and it's treat it as a scale where you frame it. It's like it was raining yesterday. I was walking my dog and I heard a crunch. I accidentally stepped on a snail. Sorry, snail, but I'm going to keep walking my dog and move along. Frame it like that. It just it's
Yeah, it's like I always love the. It was from the animated Fantastic Four show when Galactus shows up, and they're trying to talk to Galactus, and he's just not even acknowledging their existence.
right.
And they're like, why isn't he talking to us? And the Watcher's like, do you greet the cockroaches on your kitchen floor?
Right.
And like they were like, oh yeah, except for Sue, she was like, we do not have roaches.
It's perfect.
But
that's something that
yeah,
we don't really see a lot of. I've noticed where people think, "Oh, take me to your leader." That something that advanced would even like give a shit about something much lower on the technological scale than them. So where do you draw the line between something vastly technologically superior talking to something inferior to it? Like,
yeah,
where's that
like
baseline?
what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson
Yeah.
points out like a chimpanzee where it's like 98% similar to us,
Right.
but that 2% change is like the difference, and
Right.
like so like they don't even like realize like comprehend on the same level that we do about existence and like stuff. So if there was 2% greater than us,
Right.
then like we would they could be here, we wouldn't know it, and all
Right.
that stuff, like
See, I find shit like that interesting, though. It's
you know,
fascinating.
like alien abduction was like one of my biggest fears as a child. Like I would get scared reading that stuff. Like when I was like in my room, like reading about aliens and abducting people, I'd be like, man, this is terrifying.
Oh
Like,
wait,
what if this happened?
ay ay ay. Did you see that movie that Mila Jokovic was in that takes place in Nome, Alaska? That's supposed to be a like a mockumentary documentary type thing where it's based on true events, and Mila Jokovic sort of reenacts things that were recorded. I forget what the name of it was. I can look it up.
I
But
haven't seen that.
oh wait, there's Behold Nerds, just like that. So organically, I'm going to find the name of it. Oh wait, if you don't like alien abduction, I'm sorry, Frosty, to put you through this.
No, I don't mind it now. As a kid,
Yeah,
because now I granted, I guess in one way anything's possible, but now my understanding of science is like it's highly improbable that we'll, because of the distances and stuff,
yeah,
that we'll ever meet. So it doesn't bother me anymore. And I mean it's possible, but it's not like a fear I have. It's a fear I have in the like, yeah, that could happen, but real life is much more crushing than any of that shit. So
yeah.
I don't, you know what I
So
mean?
maybe they'll fix your kidneys.
Yeah, but it's a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah, there is. I was thinking that Star Trek episode where like or movie where they go back in time to the 80s,
Right.
and this the doctor goes up to like a woman who's like complaining about
Mm.
dialysis, and he gives her pills, and then like later you see him wheeling her by, and she's like, he gave me magic pills, and they're like, wait, her kidneys are functioning, she regrew them. Like, it's like I'm like, I need that to happen.
Yeah.
um who knows, yeah, maybe we'll get those kind of aliens where they're just us in the future.
Right.
um what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, okay, so yeah, let's jump into Behold Nerds, I guess. And then we can go finish with the Last Ronin versus Harry Potter or not. We were late, so we'll see where we time out with that one.
Mm.
Oh, but I will announce last week's winner was Xena, the Warrior Princess.
Ooh, how close was
Um,
that?
She defeated the bride. I forget it was a comfortable lead, but there were times when the bride caught up to her.
Hmm.
I want to I'll see if I can pull up the poll, but I think it was like 66%,
Mm-hmm.
65% for Xena,
Right.
35% for Beatrix, the bride kiddo. So yeah, it was an interesting one. A lot of you guys voted, had opinions on this one. I was interested in hearing
Does
them.
that put Xena at number one with Wolverine, or is she second?
No, but that does put her,
It's got to put her at least second.
I think, in second place.
Right.
Yeah, she's had 3 wins. Um, but yeah, so she ties with Spock and Rogue. She's doing well. Yeah, I know. I love it. I love that Xena's like fucking slicing through the ranks.
Right. Gosh, she took out Batman on her first go.
Yeah. Xena's impressive. Very impressive. People believe she can go all the way.
It's gonna be Xena versus either Goku, Spock, or Lassie. Like that's
Yeah, Goku. I think the Goku fans are gonna would totally give it to Goku, but
of
I think
course.
Goku is gonna be a fucking contender, honestly.
Yeah.
Because anytime someone says Goku, everybody's like, "Oh, Goku!"
Just
Um,
Metal Gear alert noise. Bring. Big exclamation point.
but you're right. But we do have a lot of because oh god, I'm blanking on.
Lore
I'm
Reloaded.
sorry. Yeah, fellow nerd Lore Reloaded likes to repost our Spock polls.
Yes.
So then, like, just the Star Trek nerds fucking
charge. Fleets of red shirts. Yes.
It's super fun watching you guys vote on this stuff. It really is. It's the best part.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so Xena goes on. Beatrix Kiddo comes off. And yeah, Xena moves into second place by Wolverine. And then our next one is going to be maybe today, depending on time, but Last Ronin from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the hairiest of Potters. But yeah, let's jump into Behold Nerds. So it was my pick. Behold Nerds is our weekly show where we take turns picking movies, and then we watch it in the week leading up. We encourage you guys to watch it. A couple of you guys said you really like this movie, and I picked Fury. I kind of like in my brain because it was Brad Pitt, World War II, World War II.
Yeah.
I was thinking the title Fury, but I was thinking the movie Inglourious Bastards. And then and so I asked Cap, have you seen Fury? And he's like, no. And then he was like, Inglourious Bastards. And I was like, oh, 2 separate movies.
Right.
So I picked, but I was like, Fury's good anyway. We should watch that.
Yeah.
So I picked this. It's written and directed by David Ayer. Yeah, you had never seen it before, Cap. So what did you think?
Great fucking movie. Good God, perfectly cast. We talked about this off camera, but Shia LaBeouf is great in this movie, and it's hard to peel him away from the bad movies he's been in, but he holds his own with Brad Pitt, and he steals the scene in everything that he's in. He's Brad Pitt, super good actor.
Yeah.
Versatile actor too, just all around. Seems like a really cool fucking dude. Michael Pena is there. Don't know.
His name is War Daddy in this movie.
Yeah, War Daddy. We're gonna his name John Bernthal is in this movie, playing John Bernthal in pretty much every role he's in. I love that guy. He just has he admitted this in an interview once. He just has an ugly face, so they cast him in these roles as these guys are just like the Punisher or the dude from Walking Dead.
Yeah, I have a hard time though. I just saw him as like the Punisher, but like if he was a complete and utter asshole. Yeah. That is one thing I have to point out. So this movie, we're introduced to a new person who's just like, oh, I'm a typist.
Right. 60 words a minute.
Yeah, that kid. And they have to like, part of the plot is them showing him like you have to become a killer otherwise. But they're all assholes. Like every last one of them is just such a dickhead. And Punisher is the biggest dickhead of them all. Because at least the other guy is funny. Right. And then the other guy is like
Bible.
Bible, yeah, so like you can tolerate him.
Right.
Um, but yeah, they're all just assholes.
Well, yeah, you could argue that the war made them that way,
No, I know, and that's the point of
and
the
that's the
movie
point
because
of the
they're
movie.
saying this
Right.
is how ugly war is, and
Right.
that's exactly what this movie is.
Right.
This is how ugly war is. That's
Right.
the whole message of this movie.
Right.
There's no heroes.
Mm-mm.
This is what it really is, and that whole point is emulated at the very end of the movie because they're carting the Norm's character. He's only a survivor. Spoilers again. Sorry,
Right.
and they're carting him into the
The ambulance and they.
the like ambulance, and they go, "Oh, you know, you're a hero," and he's just everything. Everyone's dead. You know,
Right.
like it's yeah, it's a dark film, but it's a fucking cool film. The action is fucking cool as
Oh,
fuck.
that one German tank against the was it the three American tanks, and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the difference in the enemy armor is just such a cool fight. So
Yeah,
you
and
don't
then
really
even
see.
the scenes that weren't that, just like them fighting with the tank, like it was just it was cool to see tank fighting, you know?
Yeah, so I was just about ready to say you don't see a lot of tank fighting in movies,
Yeah.
and you don't realize, and this is a World War II era thing. That shit lit everything up. Like
Mhm.
you don't really get to see a tank. I don't, other than maybe a small handful of movies, you don't really get to see the full capability of a tank. Most people just see the big turret gun, just boom, that's it. No, these things have guns everywhere on them, and you're an armored just tortoise, man. You're just shooting in all directions. That is a tank. It was cool to see that in this movie. Oh, so cool. Um, but even the strategies of having to get around the behind the enemy armor where it's weaker and
Yeah.
just so good, so good. Loved it.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool.
But even
Um,
God, because this is how excited I am about this movie. Um, the scene where they liberated that town and they meet the two ladies kind of remind me a little bit of All Quiet on the Western Front a little bit because there's a scene similar to that where they meet the ladies. I mean, different shit happens, but
well, so I would say that was one of the weaker parts of the movie
really,
where they take the break and then they start okay because it made me hate the people in the tank even more
mm-hmm.
and the pacing it was like oh and then it just is like boom and then it's just this ultra low for a while
Mm,
and then they're just like hey let's show how much everybody's an asshole
right.
and you're just like yep, you're all assholes. You're all giant
Well,
assholes.
yes, but you remember this is probably the most normal thing that they've had in a long time, and
No,
John
I
Bernthal's
know,
characters
and they're
as
doing it, and it's whatever. And
and,
I mean, I think though the payoff
mm-hmm.
was the gut punch that she died,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I think that was the payoff. But I do think I just okay. Look, I just think it was a pacing issue.
Okay,
That's all. That's it.
yeah, that's fine. That's
It
fine.
we had a certain pacing followed by this lull, and then they pick up the pacing again, and it becomes great.
So
Um,
I liked how tense the scene
but I do.
was.
By the way, that's just. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying I thought that was a pacing issue.
Lies, roast them on Twitter. Um, no, I actually really like the tension of it because you see this is the most normal thing that they've probably been in a while. And then you have Michael Panda's character who just, hey, do you like horses? And he starts telling the story about D-Day and just all the crap that they've gone through to lead up to this point. So they've lost their humanity at this point. That's kind of what the movie is trying to show. And the only one who is trying to keep it together is Brad Pitt. And you can tell he's already off the deep end, but he's got enough fortitude to kind of.
Yeah, they specifically go out of the way to show how he's forcing himself to keep everything under control
Yeah,
for these guys.
right.
But as soon as he's off camera, I mean, not off camera, away from them, you see him break
You saw him
down.
have his breakdown, but
I get that. It's just they're just like they the whole point was like that one moment, they go and get Norman and they help him up after trying to expose him to like forcing him to kill and all that. And they're like, look, we're a family. We're unlike these other things. You're with us now. Here's some food,
Right.
you know. And that was this bonding moment, and that made you empathize with these characters.
Right.
Then the next scene, it's like, oh, no, no, no. These aren't your brothers. Like,
Right.
yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, it's a jarring thing to do with the story,
Right.
and I don't know if it was successful or not. That's my
I get
only
it.
kind of problem with this movie.
I get it.
But the rest of the movie I thought was flawless.
Hmm.
The action scenes were some of the coolest I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
When it was just them hanging out and joking together in the tank, I thought those scenes are great.
Yeah.
I even, to a degree, understand the whole point of Norman's arc. I just it just seemed like some of the characters were like, "Whoa, dude! Like you're not at all helping this person. You're just hurting him."
Yeah. I mean, agree. Yes, but I think it was done more to just highlight the fact that they've gone so far off the deep end they've lost their humanity, and here's Norman who is barely holding on to his in this in war. War is hell. War is hell. War is war. You got to do what you got to do. You have a family, great. So does that guy. He's going to, if you hesitate, he'll kill you. But then you have that kind of payoff at the end for Norman where he's hiding under the tank and the German soldier finds him. And that's one thing that the movie did good that I really did like is that the ones who were doing most of the executions and the awful shit was the SS, not the average German soldier. So if that was an SS dude that had found Norman under the tank, he would have been executed immediately, tortured, all the horrible things. But the fact that it was a German soldier, still a soldier, he's there to do his job too, still had enough of that humanity to where it's like, nah, dude, you're good. And then they move on. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, I part of me was kind of like, boy, you suck at like pretending to be dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess, but that was sort of.
I understand. I understand. But I think this movie is fantastic. I am nitpicking a couple of things, and I don't think, but that does not change my opinion. This is a just shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
I loved it the first time I saw it. Second time I saw it, I was like, man, this is good. And the thing that struck me, because I don't even think I was paying attention to who Shia LaBeouf was, but I was like, oh wait, shit, he's in this movie.
Yeah, this is a movie. It's like I saw his face, but I didn't care that it was him or not. Like he genuinely good.
Yeah,
he
movie. Played his character flawless. Yeah, he was great. Oh, you know what else I thought was funny? Like, this is just technology. So I clicked the buy button or rent button. And then for some reason, Amazon throws me to the end of the movie and I don't notice this. And so at the end, they have the kind
montage.
of credits.
Yeah,
credits montage. And I'm just like watching it and it keeps going on and on and on. And I'm like, man, this is a long intro.
Right.
And then finally it goes to the regular credits. And now it's just like, oh, what's going on? And then I realized because we used to have movies where intros were that long,
right?
But yeah, it's just like you realize like, oh yeah, they got rid of those, didn't they?
Yeah, well, it was weird back in the day where the credits used to be showed at the beginning of the movie, not the end.
Yeah,
that's weird.
I mean they still do some credits, but you have to be a big name to be on those beginning credits.
Yes. Tom Cruise.
Do you remember the thing that I love his movies. Quentin Tarantino, he's honestly one of my all-time favorite directors, writers, all that. I think he's amazing. But do you ever see his Inglourious Bastard similar to this movie?
Yeah.
Where it's like he's looking at the camera and he's like, this might be my masterpiece, and then it goes like wham, and then it's written, directed by Quentin Tarantino with giant letters.
Right.
I'm just like, oh man, you just really love yourself, don't you? Like,
Just smelling his own farts and loving it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he's earned it though. I mean, like Jesus Christ,
Right.
he crushes everybody else.
Right.
But yeah, so it's your pick. So you had a movie. Do you know what it's
So,
called?
because you haven't seen it, and I was actually thinking about it the other day. We're watching The Fourth Kind, starring Mila Jokovic, Yoki Doodle Doo.
The
Uh,
fourth.
the Fourth
Kind.
Kind. It's available to rent. It is a based on a it's based on slash inspired by true events in the lonely town of Nome, Alaska. I think it's set back in the 80s. There's some abductions and UFO sightings. There's the movie, and then it's woven in with actual like recorded footage from everything that happened. And then there's scenes where Mila Jokovic reenacts a scene, and it's shown side by side from the original documented footage with her acting. It does take its liberties in a couple places. You'll know where. Yeah, it's.
When the ship.
I didn't hate it when I saw this, but you know what? It's
You know what was the abduction movie I thought was the scariest is what was it called, like Fire in
Fire
the
in the
Sky?
Sky. Oh my god, I hate that. That movie scared the shit out of me as a kid. Holy crap! But of course, even in that movie, they took a lot of liberties because
You know what's scary though about that is the way that when the aliens are doing their shit
mhm,
on him,
yeah,
it 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 kind of reminds me of like when we like dart and like grab
yeah,
something and then drug it
tag
up
their
and
ear.
do
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah, because like yeah, that would be what, because they were so matter of fact, the
yeah.
aliens. It
Very
was like, yeah, this is
precise.
what we do next. Yeah.
Right,
And they just didn't care. And it's like that's how those people look when they do those things,
right,
because they've just had it done it so many times,
right.
and
And that's actually something I never really thought about. So I try to apply that same type of logic to quantum, where again everything is on a scale where hey, here's a bug. Hey, let's pick it up and check out this bug. Oops, I picked up a spider and I accidentally broke off one of its legs. Oops, I'm sorry. There you go, Mr. Spider. Enjoy your day. Like it's yeah, Fire in the Sky. That scared the shit out of me as a kid. They did Hollywood the events from the guy who because it's supposed to be based on a true story, but I think the guy's actual story is a lot more interesting than what the movie portrayed. It was a lot less violent as the movie depicted, because the movie
yeah,
it's
but I mean, yeah, I understand, but
yeah,
like the stories, I think when you have to change them to change because of media
yeah,
changes. You know
I
what I
get it,
mean?
I get it. It
They're
was still
medium.
it was still that was one of those movies that scared the shit out of me when I saw it, because it's yeah, it was the way they moved. They moved with precision. They knew what they were doing. It's up.
Yeah.
It must be Tuesday. What are we doing after work? Oh no, I go to the space cantina and get some space beer. Yeah, sure. Once we're done bagging and tagging this guy. So, I wonder what their water cooler talk is like. Interesting. But
Yeah.
anyways, if you haven't seen it, it's an okay movie. It's I can already see how you're going to grade it, but it's fine. It's interesting little movie. Only
No,
because
no, I'm looking forward to it. That sounds like an interesting watch. I always like it when it's something I haven't seen.
yeah.
All right, so let's see. Yeah, we have time. Let's. I mean, I haven't really prepared, but
I
I
haven't really
sort of.
prepared. I have some prepared because I wasn't expecting to roll with this today, but
Yeah.
we
But
can.
yeah,
I
we've been given the gift of time, so
yes,
we will jump into Battle Nerds. So
yes,
as I said, last week's winner was Xena. And then so Battle Nerds is a game where we had 100 iconic characters, and we random roll to see which character we get, and then we put the characters together. We have to come up with a convincing argument as to why the character we rolled would win in a battle.
yes.
Basically, we're pretty loose on the rules. more at this point a discussion. Sometimes
Yeah.
it depends. If there's an underdog, I feel like I'm coming. If I'm the underdog, I'm coming for your throat. But when it's when it's a little bit more evenly matched, I'm like, yeah.
It has sort of become more of a discussion thing, but yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
fine. I like that.
But anyway, Cap decided to go. So Cap got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He decided to pick because you can pick each version.
Right.
He chose the
Ronin.
Last Ronin version
Yes.
from the comic book. I'm going. I got Harry Potter,
Mm.
and so I'm going with the movie Harry Potter because
Okay.
that's the one I know best.
So part of me is thankful because I was thinking that you would go just turn the dial all the way up and go with the older version of Harry Potter that was depicted in like the stage play. Like I forget what it's called. It's like the Forbidden Child or some shit. I don't know.
I have no idea. I only know the movie. I'm not gonna like look up. I'm not okay. Like I'm gonna defend Harry Potter to the best of my abilities, but I am not a Harry Potter fan. But I've come to battle.
Yes.
Uh,
So what year Harry Potter are you going with? I should ask. Are you going with just
I guess like Endgame Potter
okay?
theoretically.
Okay.
He's like a dark wizard hunter now. I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
Like, look, okay, here's why I think Harry Potter takes on Michelangelo. Oh, cowabunga, man!
It's not like that anymore. He's grown up.
is
That's one thing I do like about The Last Ronin is that it is Michelangelo who has always been like the underdog turtle, and he's just not that character. There isn't even like a vestige of that character anymore. It's just this
yeah,
hard,
well, that's because it killed who he was,
right? And
um,
I love that about the character. It's
but
just
he transcends into a sensei. I mean,
yeah,
but well, what was I gonna say? That's how he comes out of it.
right.
But I would argue as a sensei, he probably remembers what it was like to partay.
Right.
Um,
Cowabunga, dude. It's totally radical.
um, but I mean, think about it though. Like we're very different from the 16-year-old versions of ourselves.
Yes.
So
Yes, we are.
you know. Anyway, so here's what I think. So Harry Potter, it's like he's like, oh, I'm fucking here to kill you, you know, because it's Michelangelo's Last Ronin. Harry Potter's like, ah, whatever, evil turtle man, because like that's not that weird for Harry Potter,
Right.
like so he goes like Accio broom, got my broom, 150 miles per hour in 10 seconds. That is super fast. So he like flies away and like Michael, like, holy shit.
Right.
And then like he comes back and then he's like abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadabra. And if he only has to hit once and fucking he's dead.
So
He's dead. Plus he's got confusion stuff. He's got like a thingy that he can like put so he's temporarily invincible. So even if Michelangelo comes in, it would just be like blam, and it would just bounce off him.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of fun ways this could go because it's. I think it's a little bit more fair and balanced, and I'm glad that Ronin's on the table here. So, though Harry is capable as a kid, he's not. I mean, he's good, but not great yet. The only reason,
but as a kid, he defeated like the biggest badass in the whole.
Right, but that wasn't by his doing. That was his mother, and there's some one shit in there, so it's not.
Yeah, but my point is, like, you know, he stuck on that guy. I mean, come on.
So
Last Ronin, yeah, he's a threat, but I mean, if he puts all that shit to use and becomes like a guy that routinely like hunts down dark wizards, like he's gonna be this like freaking force to like you know.
So I can see this because Mikey is going to track down Harry Potter, and he's going to make that I'm here to kill you. And all right, Harry Potter might do like a stupefy, or I can see him with Michelangelo pulling out his weapons because he has a litany of weapons that he has at his disposal. Expelliarmus, and I lost my Leo's sword. Here, let me grab my bow. So I think as far as adaptability, I put them on par, because the one thing with Harry Potter is that it still takes time to flourish and parry and do all this crap where you have a trained ninja that's trained to distract people in theatrics, treated almost like a Batman type thing, where skilled ninja
Yeah,
versus.
but Accio broom, and like I said, 150 miles per
Okay,
hour.
so here's the thing: when you say Accio broom, it doesn't just appear; it takes time, depending on where it is, to go.
Well, it gets there very fast, but and in my brain, he just like it's like Thor's hammer.
When he fought the dragon and said Accio broom, because Mad Eye Moody said, "Oh, you've got a wand, summon your
But
broom,
that
use
was
your skill."
because his broom was way the fuck over
Oh
there.
yeah, so he doesn't walk around with his broom. It's not handy. It's it's I guess it's in his bag of holding, because he does have a bag of holding. So I can see it initially Harry Potter having the upper hand, because he won't resort to Avada Kedavra. I think even though he can.
It is implied. I looked it up. It is implied that he is done and willing to use it.
I think he will. I don't think it would be on. If he wouldn't use it against Voldemort, I don't think he'd use it on a Ninja Turtle. I just. Okay, we have a Harry Potter fans who I'm going to have watch this, and they can voice their opinion. But I can see Harry initially having the upper hand and Michelangelo retreating, and because he's a ninja, he's so tuned to his surroundings and nature that I can see him going undetected by Harry. I honestly, I think it sounds stupid. I think after Harry, he's kind of trying to find Michelangelo, can't find him. Michelangelo just throws a fucking ninja star at his head and just from a distance and just drops Harry Potter.
I forget what it's got, but he does have a spell that makes him so he's like temporarily invulnerable. It's like armor.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how soon he would use it in battle, I guess.
That would look. I can't speak for other people, but I play ESO, right? Which has got to be similar to Harry Potter.
It's enough.
And like I'm a caster, I'm a necromancer.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I'm running into combat, I immediately because you can assign what buttons do what.
Right.
So I can tell you because I've just got it so locked into my brain. I dab left, so I switch from sword to staff, and then I hit R1, and then I activate my armor, and so that's my first move is I go armor.
So
and then because my armor
never used armor spells, damn it.
I'm not done, so I go armor. Then I do summons because these are all on longer cooldowns, and then I go dab left to sword mode. And then I start doing my attack phase. So if he's anything like me, he goes defense first and then attack.
Well, Harry Potter is probably going to lead with. I'm novice tier Harry Potter. Like I actually do like the movies. I think the movies are quite charming. Some are better than others, but I think in their totality, they're solid films. Even the films that were not as good as others, they never reach that level of, oh man, just don't watch that. It's not good. So he would probably lead with something to the effect of Stupefy or Expelliarmus, because he wants to stun and disarm. That's his first attack with Harry Potter. I can see him maybe stunning off.
I know. We don't know what he's better at. I think he's going to be a better combatant by the time he starts hunting dark wizards for the rest of his life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got to have better strategies. He's going to improve. He's been playing the game longer, you know?
Michelangelo's what, like 50 in his last Ronin?
I agree. I think, look, okay, here's what I will say. I think Michelangelo is gonna be the better fighter. Yes. He's probably gonna be the more acrobatic if you take away Potter's fucking sweet ass fucking
his Nimbus 9000
broom thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so which he's gonna have. And he probably has a better broom because now he's an adult and he's rich and he's So but yeah, I think Michelangelo's a better fighter, better athlete overall. I just think Harry Potter's like range, diversity.
So another thing you have to kind of factor in is that uh, a spell like Stupefy might not hit Michelangelo as hard as it would a normal human, because Michelangelo is a mutant ninja turtle. So it has been established in the movies where a lot of these spells on creatures takes a little bit more muscle to get through than just your average human. So I think a couple of the stunning spells might temporarily just knock Michelangelo's cage a little bit, but not stun him completely. He's a trained ninja. He knows how to. He has the fortitude to deal with and adapt with those sorts of things. I would think.
All right, well, I think I mean I see him as a an obstacle. I just think Harry Potter's overwhelming might puts him ahead. When you think about, if we think about this, look,
So
he's a
I'll give
stupid little kid in the
really
movies,
really
right?
quick, really quick. The most offensive weapon that I think that Harry has used in the movies was the spell Sanctum Sempra or something like that. Is correct me on for those watching or who will watch it. I think it's Sanctum Sempra. It was created by Snape. He found this just written down in his one of his school books, his graffiti. So he started practicing it. It kind of is like a magic shotgun type thing. It doesn't really show the projection, but the way it's portrayed at hitting a person is almost like being hit with like shotgun beads or rounds. So I would give you that in the tool bag to use.
No, but you're missing my point. The movies, we never see him as an adult.
No,
but we see what he can do as a kid.
right.
Now, imagine a healthy 35-year-old man
Right.
fighting a 10-year-old.
Right.
And I think we have to scale the magic up to that point.
So
because you think about what these spells are capable of doing. If you weren't a stupid kid being like, oh, run away, and like,
so here's the thing, Harry Potter,
and then I will conclude said argument with, as long as he can get away from Michelangelo, he can go get that time turner thing, and then, I mean, just like when the ooze comes on them, they're like, I'll just be like,
you should just take them and put them in a little aquarium at Hogwarts and just let them.
Yeah, that's true.
Give them to Hagrid.
Give them to Hagrid, because they wouldn't be ninjas and stuff.
They'd just be turtles.
The last Ronin wouldn't exist.
It'd just be turtles. Give them to Hagrid. There you go. That's funny.
They might even be human turtles. Maybe they would attend Hogwarts, But my point is, they would be completely different creatures because of the upbringing is being different. It would no longer you just have to get Splinter out of the picture because he's the problem. Because he's the one like, no, we must be ninjas and go on a revenge mission. Like, imagine if he was like, no, we should just chill, man.
And have pizza and party. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. None of the last Ronin would have happened.
Right. So,
that is super funny. I have never realized that Splinter is the fucking person that sent him down this path.
Right. He's the one that indoctrinated them at the young age. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It is not up to us. It is up to the fans. So we will get those polls up on all of our social medias and let us know who you think won the death battle between the last Ronin, Michelangelo, and Harry Potter. Now, I will say this. Harry Potter, he's only fought the bad guys a couple times directly, and that was in the Ministry of Magic and also at the end when Hogwarts is under attack. He always had help. And though he is capable, he's not good, at least at that age, fighting by himself against something that powerful. Because there's a reason why he can go toe-to-toe against Voldemort, because the thing with the wands. They kind of naturally repelled each other because of the thing. But I don't know. Yeah,
That's pretty stuff.
I like
Like
this fight.
again, just take Harry Potter powers and put them in put them in my hands, and I'm like got failing kidneys and heart disease. But you give me a wand and all, and I can do all that stuff. Hell, I'm dangerous as hell now.
Right.
Like, and I would way outstrip Harry Potter. One thing I would do is I would bring a gun. You
Right.
know, like, so when you're all like with me, I'd just be like, yeah.
Shall we roll? This is my favorite
Yeah,
part.
I was gonna say we can roll. You gotta do 47 or lower.
All right. I rolled a 60 and a 62. And a 64. God damn it. Stop it.
Yeah, it happens. You get on these streaks. It's gonna happen more and more.
A 43. I feel like I just rolled that.
Hang on one second. 43, okay. If it is, then you can reroll 43. Yeah, actually, returning fighter again, Thanos.
Dude, we just did Thanos. I want to re-roll.
I know. It's going to happen more and more as the list gets shorter and shorter. I think this is already... I think we should re-roll because this has already been debated in... it is Thanos versus Squirrel Girl. That's just so funny.
Oh, no. I mean,
there's literally a comic where Squirrel Girl is like, well...
you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
Well, let's re-roll.
Okay.
Re-roll.
All right. Yeah, I think this particular dice is cursed. Let me try again over here with the different dice. 39. Nope. Sorry. No, never mind. Ignore me. That's a 93.
I'm happy with mine, depending on who you get.
I got a 6.
Okay. This is so crazy. Okay. I think you should stick with yours.
Okay.
Just because it's kind of funny.
Okay.
You got Xena, the warrior princess. This is a good match.
Okay.
Against Judge Dredd.
Ooh. I am the law. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you're down. So
we need to get Lucy Lawless in at this point. Damn it, Lucy Lawless.
I'll tweet her again.
Kyle Urban, get in here. Let us know. Stallone.
Oh, I don't. Oh God, I might not do the Carl Urban one.
Okay.
I kind of want to go comic book Judge Dredd.
Okay. The one that
just because I love the comics, you know.
Okay.
I can just think of that time he fought like Batman, for example. Like that just comes to mind.
Right.
And they kind of fight similar villains sometimes, because like she fights like that, like Lord of the Undead, you know, and all that. And then like they fought the dead judges from the other universe and stuff like that.
Mm.
So, oh man, that's a really good comic. I should pick that up again. I don't even know what's going on in that world at all. If anybody does, let me know. I'd be interested. Okay, so Xena versus Judge Dredd, probably comic book one. Looking forward to that. That'll be fun.
Oh, PDE Video ZZZ says Judge Dredd. You already got a vote. Okay, that'll be fun. So tune in next week for next round of Battle Nerds Judge Dredd versus Xena Warrior Princess. I wonder, Lucy Lawless is going to be like on the toilet one day, and she's going to be going through her Twitter, just thumbing through it. It's like, who are these pitch nerds? And why is Xena fighting the bride? And what is this? A Judge Dredd? What is this? I just need to tickle her curiosity.
Yeah, the thing is, on Twitter, she's one of these people that generally only tweets that like when it's like something she's passionate about.
Yeah.
And those are usually causes and things like that. She's less interested in being like, hey, can Xena defeat Beatrix the Bride, kiddo? Because in episode 64, right. You know, that's just not her personality.
Right.
As much as I wish it was. You know who's more like that is Tara Strong.
Yeah.
She's more like that. She'll respond to people and
Oh, she wished me
things
happy
like that.
birthday, and it just made me melt inside. I would love to meet her one day. She is.
Yeah.
It's just you don't
Well,
realize.
although she is also one of these people that generally has, because we follow her on Twitter, and
Mm,
most of her posts are about being vegan, things like that.
yeah,
So, I mean, they definitely have things they feel strongly about.
that's fine,
Um,
but good grief,
oh no, I
you
agree. I think I wish people were more okay with people having strong opinions without getting all like, "I'm gonna punch you,"
right.
or like you're an idiot and things like that.
Just
I think
you
that.
don't understand how important this individual has been to a lot of what pop culture has become until you pull up their IMDb and see, holy crap, she's been in everything. Same thing with like Rob Paulson and like Maurice Lamar or Jim Cummings. You don't realize just how big of an impact they've had on like the average American child until you see, holy shit, like they've been in everything and everything and everything. So, oh, I would love to meet her
Yeah.
one day because I got to meet Rob Paulson. I got to meet all the Animaniacs. Tress McNeil, um, Rob Paulson, and what's her name? Tress McNeil, Jess Harnell, Rob Paulson. There we go. So I got to meet them, and that was incredible. That's where I got Tress to have a phone conversation with Dan as Skinner's mother, and that was awesome. That was one of the coolest things ever. Um,
You know, one thing I love to watch is when you ever watched videos? There's a few of them on YouTube where you get to see the voice actors for anime, like
yeah,
dubs,
you're right.
and like because like they have to overact so
Right. You
much.
see their veins just popping out of their
Yeah,
foreheads and
well,
shit.
like Goku, but
Yeah.
like even when it's not that, like, like I was watching. I kind of like the anime Fairy Tale,
Mm.
and I was watching the girl character like "Go forth, Tauros," and like all that, and I was like, "Wow, that's what you look like." And that's you know what I mean. It's just so like you don't think about it, but
Right.
then you see them. There's something about seeing stuff like that. It's just crazy.
Well, because what the thing with voice actors, they're not static a lot of the times. They each have their own mannerism and way of getting into the character. Because you
Oh
only have your
yeah, yeah. They
voice,
definitely like they act
so they
along with
have
it.
to mannerism. They have to, it's expression. That's what it is. They
Mm.
have to convey it, and sometimes to convey it, you have to articulate it, or I'm sorry, like move it. You got to move your body, even though you don't see it. But I still like the Goku voice actor that passed out from screaming so loud, like he fainted. You heard of that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Man, I think that's like I saw something. It was like you know like what women think guys want, and it was like a butt or something, and then it was like
Right.
what they actually want, and then it was like someone going Super Saiyan,
Right.
and like, and
Have
I kind of agree with that statement. Like, I would love to go Super Saiyan just once, you
you
know?
have you seen the documentary? I know that voice.
No,
All right, that's going to be a Behold Nerd soon. That's so John DiMaggio, voice of Bender, um, made his own documentary where he talks about the voice acting industry and came out a few years ago. I watched it a couple times. I like voice actors. All of them are on there. All of them are on there. Um, that'll make a good Behold Nerds one day, maybe a couple
you know
weeks.
what I watched this week,
Hmm?
and this one is kind of embarrassing to admit. But I was just like, I was watching a YouTuber talk about this movie, and I was just like, I remember that,
Hmm.
and so I decided to watch it. Is Freaky Friday.
Ah,
Um, the like
the,
seriously,
the the old one or the new one?
the one with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay, so the newer one. It was
If
Jamie
you
Lee
watch
Curtis and
that one,
was it like Paris Hilton or one of those? No, Lindsay Lohan, right?
Lindsay
Yeah,
Lohan.
that's right.
If you watch that one, Jamie Lee Curtis she can
Right,
you and it's not a good movie. No way is this a good movie, but you're kind of enjoying it based purely on her performance
right.
of her acting like this 16-year-old girl in this grown-up woman's body, and and you can tell she's having so much fun doing it
Right.
that you can't but help have fun with her. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so, yeah, this movie, even though I acknowledge it's bad, I just can't help but think it's like kind of a guilty pleasure.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I have guilty pleasure movies.
Yeah.
We all have guilty pleasure movies.
But yeah, I just was like, "Ah, man, Jamie Lee Curtis, man, she can act. Like, and then you start thinking about other movies that she's in, like True Lies, and she was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, she was fantastic in that too.
Right.
Like, she's a really good actress, you know.
Wasn't True Lies a James Cameron movie too?
I think so. I don't remember.
Oh, that's
a good
old
movie.
nerds. Yeah,
That's another bold.
God, when was the last time I've seen that movie?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, that was great because it was. See, a lot of people don't realize that it was a freaking parody,
Right.
Because it was like so over the top. Like she
Right.
drops the gun down the stairs, and it goes like, brr, 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 and then just like all these guys start running into the room, getting killed by it. Like just like way too many guys. Like. And like I remember watching it with my dad, and he's like laughing so hard he can't breathe. He's like having to stop and like take inhaler blast.
That's funny.
Like,
Yeah, that'll make a great Behold Nerds one day. Anyways, we have got about 5 minutes or so to kill.
yeah.
I mean, so even though he's not here, we can just really quick give opinions on Stargazer. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Sure. So well if you pull up again, the links are in our Twitter. You can find his and we'll post them after it. But if you can also just go straight to @rightpeaceful. That's his Twitter page. He's the creator of Stargazer. Hopefully we'll have him back on when he figures out why his microphone wasn't working. But it is a space comic. It's kind of like Star Wars, Jack Kirby, and yeah, those two kind of slammed together.
Yep.
Yeah, the first 22 page like issue looks like it's a story of
there's an
alien
invasion.
show up. Yeah, and then they fight back, and then his father gets lost into this like portal. And then the son later like is growing up, and he gets a distress signal from his father. That's about as much as we know at this point. It looks really interesting. I like the art style. I like the influences. And yeah, I'm excited to read the full thing when it comes out.
You can see the influences in the alien spaceships, like their little starfighters. They look sort of TIE Fighter-esque. You can see that he's definitely a Star Wars fan, which always welcome here. No, I thought it was great.
Yeah, there was also like there's a trooper, and it like you could see like the Boba Fett influence in it.
So
and then then there was the like guy, I think his name was Rusm. He's standing like this, and he looks like Darkseid.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was interested to know like what he thinks of Jack Kirby. Like, is that the era? Because that was kind of the one that came to mind for me. But maybe he was inspired by a different era. But hopefully we can pick his brain, because that was definitely cool.
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking it out. It's a fun little read, and it definitely gets you ready for like, oh, I can't wait for this out.
Right. You know, it's great that here's just an indie creator just trying to get his footing in the world. I think we should be ingesting more of this and just allowing the new breath of fresh creative air.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's nice. I liked it. Shut up and take my money so far. Links are on all of our social medias. Feel free to check it out. Support.
Again, his Twitter handle is @rightpeaceful. And that's WRITE, peaceful.
Yeah. But yeah, I love how we have sort of become like the first stop for all these little indie comics on their way to the greener pastures.
Well, some of them do pretty good, like Phoenix Press. That's only one comic for him. He does several, so
Mm,
and he seems to be doing pretty well,
that's awesome.
which is awesome. There's a we've talked about. We'll probably have him on the show at some point. Um, at Real Super Killer.
Mm,
He writes the web comic Super Killers,
okay,
and he's got several issues into it, and it's a good read.
that's awesome.
Very dark comic, and that's definitely his jam. He likes those darker things.
Mm,
And then yeah, so yeah, there's some interesting people we've met along the way. Impact Comics, obviously, they're working on issue 4, I think.
was it 3 or 4? No, issue 4, right? We got to
Yeah,
see the peak on that.
yeah. It's also interesting people who are going for print versus focusing on web. Um, I understand that the issue with print is you have to pay for the printing,
Right,
which means you need to ensure you already have enough people to pay for that.
right,
So otherwise you'd be caught with a giant bill, and then you've got shipping and things like that. So
right.
I think web is definitely makes sense, and it's cool that some sites like Global Comics and stuff like that are supporting them. And you have a place to go where you can post your
Yeah.
comics. Man, it'd be fun. I would to do it. I would have to get an artist,
Yeah.
and that's the hard part. I mean, I guess we know artists that would probably if we could raise money, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe when I'm better, I'll consider
I
that.
mean, I have. If I were to find a comic creator and have the funds to pay them to do something quantum related, it'd be a 4 issue thing where it'd just be discussing each of the 4 different gates that people use to enter the world and saying, what's it like entering this gate? What happens if you entered this gate? And it just.
Oh, see, I know what I want my comic to look like, and
Mm,
I know what it. I want it to start with this freaking scary ass looking like being
mm,
holding my main hero Vincent Storm
mm,
over an edge, and the shot would be from up here, so you're looking at the back of her holding him up,
mm,
and it's raining, and then my hero isn't like a typical hero because he's kind of like a it's he's like this kind of like bulkier kind of guy,
mm,
and yeah, and then so it's her against him, and then like the end of the first comic would be like he's like fucked up and she's about to like kill him, and but his motorcycle's right there,
mm,
and sleeping in the saddlebag is a little black cat,
mm,
and it jumps out, and then see the black cat, it can regress, but unlike him where he goes back to previous versions who had his power,
mm,
it regresses evolutionary,
mm.
so all of a sudden it turns into this mad giant saber-toothed cat, and then her whole head is in its mouth, and it just goes Rah! And then crushes the vampire's head in its jaws,
That's
and then
awesome.
it turns back into this little cat, and it's just like
Meow.
yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
that's his pet that he has. Like,
Mm,
I just think because it captures the right amount of fairy tale and then gritty kind
right.
of the crow style thing that I want.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But yeah,
yeah, that's awesome. Mine would be because there's 4 different gates that people entered my quantum universe, and it would be entering. Yeah, just what happens if you entered this gate? What were the events that kind of brought you into the world? It's almost like the introduction video or like the tutorial. Like this is what generally everybody experienced when they entered this world because everybody's starting on the same giant platform out of nowhere, almost like Minecraft. Where you're just kind of poof. You're
I
just in
would
this world.
like if I can just. I mean, you can take it or leave it, of course, because it's your vision.
Mm.
But I would suggest like making an audience character
Oh yeah.
or a character talking directly to the audience that's like you could have a little droid like
So
and or have a character like a droid is talking to so that the audience has a character project onto.
yeah, so I'm actually working on that right now. One of the gates, one of the 4 gates, Kundalin Gate. It's written in first person. It's going to be my story, yo.
Okay.
So first person from me. There's all in eclectic types of animals and creatures and weirdos. And I'm writing for myself. Like I'm writing
Yeah.
from like what would I be if what would be going on in my head if I was in this situation. So it kind of frames it in a way because everybody's going to react differently to some type of stress or trauma. And actually, one of my friends, they've agreed to enter one of the worst places, and the way their story is kind of unfolding because they have all these disorders and it's just autism, just a lot of mental disorders, and have it almost be almost like a Alice in Wonderland type thing where she's just feels like she's in her own delusion, if you will, and she's just kind of rolling with it. Um, Interesting.
It
Super
would be
interesting.
cool, like, what if, like, just as your framing device, just
Mm-hmm.
throwing this out there.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was like some kind of robot or something that
Mm-hmm.
like maybe is like, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, like it's part of the universe. Like it like fixes these gates or something. That's
Yeah.
its whole job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the comic takes that robot through its like first day
Mm-hmm.
on the job, and then while that's happening, that's explaining to you, the reader,
Right.
like, oh, and then the readers, that they're going to enter these gates and everything, because like that's your whole universe
Yeah. Yeah.
style. Like, what story are you going to say?
Yeah. Right.
So that way it explains to the person reading the comic what your universe is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could have these two robots interacting, like the supervisor and the new robot being built just that day, as it's like learning its job, which then explains the universe.
That's
I don't know.
actually no. Honestly, you
That was just what came to mind. That
so
was just
so
that was, and again,
you
that's
sort
just,
of. I hate how we think alike. Because I have in the same way of what you're thinking, but just a little bit different. But I do have something like that. But yes, I hate how we think alike. Um, that's awesome. We are. Oh wait, we're at 12:34. We should probably wrap it.
yeah,
Yes,
okay.
I hear the stirring. For those who've watched, thanks for watching. For those who will watch, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to PDE Video ZZZ for voting for Judge Dredd. You've already got one in the. You've already got
We haven't even started,
a
but yeah, we'll
notch in your
count.
corner. I'm pretty sure you're going to have several notches in your corner right off the bat for Harry Potter because we do have some Potter fans among us. That's okay. We'll post up everything on our social medias, and now that Facebook is operating now, feel free to reach out there. That's where you'll be able to contact me. Twitter, you can get a hold of
Yeah,
Frosty.
so the poll on, how long you have. I do it for 6 days.
Yeah,
So so Cap will message me the Twitter amount the Facebook amount by what is it, Saturday.
yep,
That way I can add it all together.
yep. Y'all have one.
The yeah, anyway.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
like.
make sure to, if you're on YouTube, because a lot of you guys are watching on YouTube, thank you. But yeah, like, if I love it when you hit the like button. Like, seriously, I know I hate saying it, but like, hit the icon,
Smash
comment,
that
all
like
that.
button, comment, help us
It's
with the
so cool.
algorithms.
It's so cool. It's like, it makes my day. You have no idea. Like, it really does, because we don't have, we have a few people to watch, but we really appreciate when you do.
Yep. I mean, we're building up a little collection of people. We have a little fun.
Friends, yeah.
That's good. We're saplings right now. That's what we are. Anyways, guys, we like to end the show with a nerdy quote by Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, take her away.
Yeah, so I'm actually, like, because she fought last week, so, and then next week, so in honor of the second place champ, in a time of ancient gods, warlords, and kings, a land in turmoil cried out for a hero. She was Xena, a mighty princess forged in the heat of battle.
Oh.
The power, the passion, the danger, her courage will change the world.
Oh, good night, everybody.